Hello, my friends. Gotta put the local feedback off. Try that again. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Micromotor Workshop. As usual, I'm plagued by technical problems. I'll demonstrate a few of them to you in a sec. Hoping that one of the issues, the stupid Wirecast software, what I'm using for streaming, doesn't crash, which like to do the more scenes I added. So I have limited myself to as few as possible. So I reconstructed my camera head. It's now removable. So you can see two magnets here and one in the middle. So you can snap the whole contraption to your head of choice. Here's the image of that. Jesse says, loud and clear. That's good. So the chat room is busy already. What's up, fellas? So, seems like we're ready to go. I'll show you a couple of the things I wrecked during the week, and then I come up with a few new ideas what I want to do with this live cast here. So, at first, let me show you this thing here. Until this morning, it looked pretty darn good. So then I was test flying it right out here, and so jumped back on. Live control room says health is good, but I think that's an old message. Yeah, it's the lorikeets making noise outside, and the stupid Wirecast keeps crashing. It sucks. Spent quite a bit of money on this software, and it came well recommended, but I think I have to look for something else. It's actually a quite nice software. It works good when it works. So, yeah, here's my flat, sad Reggae Shark. I was flying it out there towards the street, and then I wasn't really used to the controls. It's not an FPV yet of the cheapo transmitter, and it has way less yaw control than I'm used to, so yeah, it kind of drifted out towards the street. I cut the throttle, and a second later I lost the video feed. So, well, what happened? And yeah, guess what? It got flattened by, I presume, a car. Three shafts of the motors just snapped, and the other one, the two blades snapped off the propeller. The battery looks pretty dented, so I discharged that, gotta dispose of that, and the antenna seems, well, like maybe the camera module is still working. Probably not. So, yeah. That's to that. But I've built a few more of them. Some of you might have seen my post on Facebook about that. No, it was not the DHL guy, I think. or he would have stopped. No, it was, landed on the street. 30 seconds later, I was out there. I didn't see the car before and after, but I assume it was one. So, yeah, it's Pico V2. No, it's that TE93 camera module, which has a Pico camera, an MC900 in there, I believe. So the frame didn't break. The frame did not break, but it's bent, and the motor doesn't sit in there nicely anymore. So it's not really broken as in two pieces, but it's unusable. The flight controller might actually have survived. The thing I care least about on that quad, because it's one of these stupid ready-to-fly flight controllers that I rip out of these ready-to-fly quads over here. So I happen to have a few of these here. Top selling X6. Yeah, didn't make an effort to top sell them, that's why I still have so many of them. So I thought, yeah, I'll rip them apart and put them on Reggae Sharks. Like that, ready to fly Reggae Sharks. But next to one of them being run over, I still have enough left. But there's another problem which kind of bugs me, and that is interference. So not with each other, as we discussed the last two sessions, but interference from the motors, or from the ECs, or from the flight control, whatever. As soon as you power up the motors, there's interference in the video stream. And that's kind of weird, because I have the exact same setup here and here. One is with an Alienware flight controller, and one is with that ready-to-fly thing. And this one here has very little interference. I mean, the video signal is not perfect, but this one here has a lot of interference. It's not as bad that it's not flyable, so I could fly it all the way down to the street, but it's a bit annoying, and I don't know where it comes from. I was assuming it comes from the voltage regulator being so close to the camera and to the transmitter, but yeah, this doesn't really make sense either, because I have it exactly the same way here as well. Right on the camera housing is the voltage regulator. But anyway, I thought I'd take it off. Lucky enough, I'm making all these things with plugs. So I made a little extension and put the voltage regulator outside. So keep it away from the frame and test it this way. And if it would have worked, I would have installed it somewhere at the back or bottom or somewhere. Same, exactly the same. So it looks to me like this flight controller is just producing a lot more noise. It's still flyable, so yeah, not really sure what to do about that. So yeah, look at the chat room. Tweaked, yeah, frames tweaked. Did you send Ben your cool green frame? I didn't get any green frame, as far as I remember. Yeah, lucky that it wasn't an alien, but I think the flight controller survived. Yeah, green flight controller, that is, right. So I do have the green flight controllers, they look very nice, but yeah, I learned I need to flash the bootloader, and I don't have the right plug for that, so they're still sitting and waiting here. Nice green aliens in hibernation. could try throwing a tiny 100 milliamp 1S in there. Yeah, I could do that. So it would at least prove if the noise is coming from the noise is getting over the wires or over the air. So let's charge. Let's see, maybe there's some charging this back here. 3.9 volts. So let's give it a little bit. Green, like aliens should be, actually, right? Aliens should be green. Put it on the scope. Yeah, well, what should I see when I put it on the scope? I'm not really a friend, let's say this way, of the scope. I don't really know yet how exactly to use this thing. Yeah, I can do some basic things, but what should I do? What should I figure out from putting this thing on the scope? I can see that it makes noise. I can see that it makes less noise. It's on alien wing. So is it me or is the volume a little low? It might actually be. Let me see. I can crank this up. This doesn't help too much, but there is another button somewhere. General. No, not this. Some preferences. Input. Yeah, I can make it louder. From 25% to, oops, it's not too loud. 75. Did that change anything? So that's better. Really, it was quick. We have not that much of delay. I like that. So I type something, 1, 2, 3, and press enter in a second, and then you figure out how much delay that is. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, return. So Ash is having problems with his camera. Yeah, this camera was crashed too, so it's losing video feed when you have any kind of vibration. Well, it might be that some of the connections are cracked. Otherwise, why would you lose signal when it vibrates? Four, 5, 6. So faster, yeah, it is faster indeed. Well, just watching the stream bandwidth, it varies between 600 and 200 kilobits per second for some reason. 19% CPU. So Eric from Norway thinks streaming is very useful. It has helpful tips. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, so that's my current situation. I built 8 of them. Now we lost one, so there's 7. This one here is still good. Has the external regulator, so I'm gonna fix that. Yeah, 7 left. So yeah, if any one of you race event in Sydney tomorrow. It won't be that good as I was hoping for. And these suckers are a little bit tricky to fly with ready to fly transmitters. But especially if you already have a flight controller like a NanoQX FPV flight controller, still happy to part with those so you can have some platform to fly tomorrow. And well, actually that little bit of extra weight, that small battery, let's try that. So yeah, something what I wanted to do anyway at some stage. Let's try it now. I wanted to fly FPV live. So I tried to rig this thing up with the external battery and then try to fly it over the live stream so you can see how bad the interference is, if there's any. Otherwise, these things weigh, the whole quad including battery weighs 65 grams, so should be able to carry a little extra battery with no problem. So just transmitting on 520. So I'll change the receiver to 5820. Sharks are 65 grams, and the battery what I'm using, I don't know what, on the label it says 100 milliamp 3.7 volts. To be honest, I don't know where it's from. Whenever I have devices that do not perform as they used to, or as they should, I just disassemble them and put the parts in small little buckets. So at some stage it might be helpful, like now. Otherwise, why would you want to have a 100 milliamp battery? So crap, doesn't work at all. Maybe it's not the right frequency. Oh, that's right, 5860. Okay, 5860. Oh, damn. There we go. So let's somehow rubber band the battery in here. So, an extra battery on the back. Hang on. This is the stream of my head cam. Nothing is coming out of this thing. Damn. Maybe the battery doesn't work. It is one of these batteries with some sort of a protection circuit in there. Let's try that one. volts. Probably not good. Yeah, let's see, maybe I can stick this in there. No. Needs one with a cable. Try this one. It's 150 milliamps. 3.9 volts. Should be enough to even run it. Maybe its polarity is wrong. The camera's pretty close by now. So it's a bit fiddly to get the plugs in here. I should have more of these tools here. Ash, not the ash in the chat room, the other ash, big ash. Big ash, if you're listening, I need more roach clips. Forgot what the scientific name is. These things here. They're awesome to put little things together. For some reason, I am getting anything out of this camera. Problem is between chair and monitor. Didn't plug the voltage regulator back in. Of course it doesn't work then. But even if I plug it back in, it doesn't work. Something's happening. Yeah. So that's that. As soon as you do it right, it works. Now let's see how the interference is. First I'll glue that voltage regulator back on there. I'm using hot glue for that, so that's good because you can just glue it off back again when you want to. Just heat it up a little bit and glue it back on there. Be careful with the heat. Usually rubber bands snap if you expose them to heat. So need another rubber band to fix the main battery. So, finding the transmitter. still makes almost the same amount of noise. Not so much different to what it was with being connected to the. So yeah, that means I can voltage filter whatever I want to. This flight controller is just making so much noise that it travels through the air into the voltage regulator. So these transmitters are explicitly 25 milliwatt because that's what we're allowed to run officially in Australia. And since we want to do this officially, we are running 25 milliwatts. So the other ash, big ash is working. Oh, what a shame. He wanted to come here on the weekend, but he didn't. So please text him. We need more. I have one of them, but yeah, I need at least two, and I really think we should give away some of them. Thermostats, exactly. Need more cavities? I don't have any. Which pixel should I look at? Pixel. I don't know what you mean, Mr. Pneum. Hey Dave, glad you're back. Need more sharks, more shark frames. I sent you a Skype message. Switched off my Skype now, so maybe you didn't get it yet. Out of sharks in Australia, almost. What kind of regulator? Yeah, it's the ready-made RC regulator. So before the battery runs out here, I will fly this thing around a little bit. So to do that, let me just switch. Yeah, it works. Not as good as I was hoping for. It's certainly not a practical solution to have this plug here in the middle. It worked. Nothing crashed, not even Wirecast. So didn't have audio, damn, did I miss that? Did I not put the audio on? Yeah, damn, I'm sorry. So I was talking, making all sorts of funny comments while I was flying, and you didn't get those. I gotta catch up with the chat room. I was busy while I was flying. Dave is back here. Fly it like you stole it. Hex Sharks. Yeah, Hex Sharks are coming, I heard. Sketchy hamster got me again, yeah. That's because I'm always setting up the scenes new in Wirecast because it crashes, and as soon as I open a saved, whatever they call it, studio, crashes again. So I reset the scene and I forgot to change the audio source to my headset. I'm sorry. I'll try this again in a minute. Recharge the battery a little bit. So, yeah, it is an expensive ass battery tripod, I mean. There's the tripod itself wasn't that cheap because it has a fluid video head. So I use it also for making videos. That's what I originally bought it for. And then there's 4 receivers for like $50 each on there, and antennas worth around $450. And then a video joiner worth another $50. So yeah, expensive little tripod. There's no absinthe in mango juice. I drink very little absinthe. My bottle of absinthe that I bought in 2014 still half full, because that stuff makes you really wonky in the head. So now it's plain mango lassi. Australian grown R2E2 mangoes with Greek yogurt, blended in a German Thermomix and filled in German beer mugs. So this park looks familiar. Imagine you can feed chat into FPV goggles. Yeah, you actually can, but then I can't see my stream anymore. OSC. Don't know what you mean by that, because it's not pop up. I rather enjoy live FPV flights. What age we live in, yeah. Adam posts links to communities again. Oh, Adam is still moderator, that's cool. So you can still post. Links, looks like the moderator status is permanent. Yeah, no comedy, I'm sorry, I'll fly again in a sec. Adam is deaf. $450 worth of antenna, yeah. One of these pepper box antennas is $90. The mushrooms are, I think, $30. Postman is coming. Hello? How are you? It's 4-way FPV receiver.
Ah, very dedicated.
Yeah, tomorrow for the race.
Ah, good stuff.
Cheers.
Bye, mate.
See ya. So, how do we say sky? Maybe like sci-fi, sci. I just say sky. All slushy. It's not 150 per antenna, but there's 2 antennas on each receiver, so yeah, around 130 bucks of antenna on each receiver. Master C student got a grey alien head. Cool, did I send it to you? Not again has more forceps. So are these little tweezer things called forceps as well? Stream dead? What? Back again? Is it working? Stream still working? Stream still working? Return. Okay. Sorry for that. Yeah. Not sure what else to say. I changed the audio source of the stream to my headset and try again. So yeah, it's not very easy to fly this thing. That's what I said during the last flight. So let's try again. I'm going to put the other battery. Let's try that. So this one's charging, and the other one, that's one of the main issues. I used to run 2 batteries on my FPV quads for quite some time. The problem with that is you always have to charge 2. You have 2 possible batteries that can die and make you crash. So just for that reason it's good to only have 1 battery to power the whole thing. It's, it's a single source of failure, that's right, but rather 1 single source of failure than 2. Not the way around. Oh, here we go. Video signal. New flight battery. So let's see if I still have audio. Now I switch. Mic shot. Transition. Blah blah. Looks like it. And you see, lots of noise. Indeed. Too much noise for my liking. Can that happen? Plug come out. Let's try again. See all that interference? That's with separate. So let's try again. Flight time. I did see interference, yeah, I did too. No audio. Why? Check, check. I see audio coming out. Can you still hear me? I also saw a frozen screen. Good now. Okay. Then let's try that again. So the issue is I'm not recording right now. So if I crash, then I can't go back in the recording and see where I landed. So you gotta help me out with that, okay? So apologize for the noise. I need to take my headset off and put the goggles underneath. Yeah, touching microphones always makes noise, obviously. So let's try it again. It's nice and wind still, so that helps, but it's not very easy to fly this thing. Oh, the interference. Oops. Crap. So yeah, here we go. It was a quick flight. I'll switch to the camera head. So for your entertainment you can observe the rescue. nothing coming out of it anymore. So, see, that's FPV flying live. All the videos that I publish on my channel, it's just a few nuggets where it actually works. It'd be much more fun. Well, maybe not. If we wouldn't have all these problems, probably not as much fun. So, David, are you user 179? And Fleming knows the undercover. Near the clothesline here. Thank you, Jesse. Found it right there. Slushy break. Yeah, I have a few more. Every morning I hack up a few mangoes and make the smoothie fix for the day. Use the mango season as long as it lasts. Yeah, so far to that. My other plan was, as soon as I have figured out how to run this stream here consistently, to make that into my extended support channel. So some of you might know, a while ago I used to run, the way I can make this even louder, I see here. Tell me if it's too loud. Oh, I cranked up the volume on the headset full. It still only goes to minus 24 dB. And I can crank that up too. That's the maximum. So tell me if it's too loud. I don't think so. So I used to have a live chat on our website where I was answering people's questions live. The problem is it only works when I'm actually sitting there. So and I only came down to doing that like a couple of hours per week. So I wasn't really happy with that. On the other side, it really helped to get the answers to people right when they need them. And it helped to reduce my email-based support effort, which is getting quite significant. Yesterday, my Sunday, I was doing 60 support tickets. It took me around 5 hours of my Sunday. So I'm looking for ways to somehow consolidate that. I can't hear. Bob Lee, say it. I can't hear. I don't know what's going on in the chat. Hey Benedict, how do I plug in the battery? I assume you mean the battery, but yeah, you know, that's kind of the questions I probably have to deal with if I want to do that, and I think it's a good plan to do that, to put just that stream here onto my website. You know, you can just simply embed a live stream onto some website, just like with any other YouTube video, and once a week have people come in here and ask questions, and you guys can help me answering them. So sound is fine, hopefully fix it. And Cool Basa Dog asks, is that TX in front of the monitor still on? So TX in front of the monitor, you mean bounce down here or then on my head? So yeah, this is still on. The other two's. Ah, you mean maybe it's interfering with that one? No. No, it was not putting out any signal at all. So for some reason that video transmitter just died. Scott appreciates the hangout. Thank you. Adam would help as usual. Sketchy Hamster says my mic is too far from my mouth. Really? I think it's just good. Not loud enough? Yeah, I see. It's only going, it should go way higher than that. Towards 0, right? Towards 0 is the aim of the game. Input volume. Output volume. I guess I can crank it up here. Yeah, crank it up further here. Let's see. That louder, louder. That's the loudest. Wow, this is almost double. Sorry for those with headsets on. Was that loud enough? It just got louder, says Adam. Shouting a little bit. Shout, shout. Loud enough for you? I just figured a fifth, I think, opportunity to regulate my microphone volume. That's the ticket. Okay. Good. For your entertainment, I'll try to fly with a proper setup, which has worked before. So, you know, I don't want to say I know what's working, because that's usually then not working. So I'll take my FPV head off again. And replace the video stream. Switch that off. Replace the video stream with an alienated Reggae Shark.
Welcome to OpenTX.
So it's not bound. For some reason the module that I put in the timers is not keeping a bind. This is another very useful application for these thermostat things, and that is you plug, then you use the bind plug the battery in, and then it's in bind mode. Bind the transmitter, and it keeps the bind as long as the transmitter is on. As soon as I switch it off, gotta be rebound. Nope, that was the wrong one. One of those two has some weird receiver issues, but it didn't work out yet. Didn't change the receiver. Somehow the board is not communicating with the receiver. Let's try this one. It seems to work. Yeah, I think this has some motor issues. So be fun. Let's turn around. Back here. Put the stream to full screen. Just like that. And so here we go. So, goggles on, headset on, armed, ready to go. So yeah, something's wrong with the motors. Oh, look, my chicken. Let's chase the chicken. Oh, it's not keeping a yaw. Something is wrong. And I'm only using the antenna, bok, 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 which is sitting right down here. So that's why there's not much reception if I go back here. You see a lot less
2 minutes.
interference than with those RTF boards. Much easier to fly. Oops, clipped the house. Yeah, here on the street up here. Blood of your friend. Oops. FPV in the tree. Okay, that's what usually ends. So, and since the transmitter's still on, I can't transmit the rescue without further complications. Yeah, where is it? Where did it go? Oh, here. It's a small tree. So yeah, not much of a problem. Swing, baby. Why is the signal quality so crappy? Sorry for the noise. To muck around with my headset again. So let's see if I can take off the swing.
1 minute.
1 minute. I think I need to check the motors on this thing. As soon as I give it more throttle, it turns to the left. So that means one of the, what does it mean? If it pulls to the left,
30
then
seconds.
one of the right turning, one of the clockwise turning motors is bad, right?
20 seconds.
Oops, seat spins, oh no. Oh no, come down.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay. That's it.
Done. Very choppy video. Pilsner Popper says you are much better with the proper TX. Yeah, I think the transmitter is probably the biggest difference between those two. Even though, yeah, it's programmable flight controller and I've tuned it and whatnot, and has probably a lot of technical advancements over the ready to fly thing. I think the biggest difference is between the, you mean that transmitter? Yeah, it was still on, but that doesn't do anything. The biggest difference is between the two transmitters. So those gimbals on these toy ones, I believe they are the main issue. Just in comparison, this was the guy I flew first, and that was the last flight. Huge gimbals, proper ball bearing gimbals, just making a huge difference as opposed to these cheaper ones here. The whole thing can't cost more than $3, I think. But yeah, to get people started, you know, it's a tough investment if you don't know if you want to get into FPV, if you like flying quads. It's difficult to drop a couple $100 on a transmitter. So that's why I think giving people something to learn to fly with and see if it's for them at all. Yeah, I don't know. Let's figure it out. So, no last second, no wasting flight time. I'm flying 3 minutes for so long, and yeah, whenever I hear the 10, we know where I have to be to land on the 0. F-bombs, FPV chair, yes. This is chat. Here the say I'm not using F-bombs. Trying not to. Yeah, and I've seen blackouts in the stream. That's right. They are not in the stream what I see. So that must be the video encoder that I use to feed the video into the computer. So no, if it would black out like that, I would have crashed a long time ago too. So David is okay with some lag to watch the madness from the future. Mr. Dewey Dong likes it too. That FPV footage was so choppy. But yeah, it was live. It was live, you know. Yeah, I think it's just choppy because at first the refresh rate of the stream is as minimal as possible. I think it's 15 frames a second. Plus, if there's a lot of movement in the stream, I think the encoder, because it's compressing the heck out of it, would probably add its fair share of weird artifacts. So yeah, I don't really think it's, or maybe it is, a useful application for the future to fly FPV live. You know, we were thinking about transmitting our racing live, and you know, if FPV racing takes off big time as an international sport event, we will no question see live footage, you know, maybe even streamed on TV. But as we playing this game already all know, the video quality is so crappy that the average TV watcher will not put up with that, I think. You know, they're all used to the GoPro footage that people record on board. They're not used to the TV standard of the 70s anymore, plus lots of analog artifacts. So I think, yeah, live streaming has a long way to go. But on top of the inherent issues, I'm adding my own with that a very limited internet connection here, which allows me to only stream in 240p, which is even half the resolution what my stream puts out. And in addition to that, it's compressed, so that's what I even notice in the recordings what I put up. So if I record this with a video recorder, if I record the downstream and then edit that and put that into a video, there are lots of artifacts in there, digital compression artifacts, which you don't have in the goggles. So for those who haven't been flying FPV yet, it doesn't look as good as the GoPro footage, what you see on YouTube, but it doesn't look as bad as you've seen right here a couple of minutes ago. Somewhere in between. But I can tell you from looking at footage afterwards and looking at FPV footage from other people, your brain can compensate for a lot of that. It's not really needed to have an HD or even a clear SD video stream to have fun flying. So even with that interference, what I've showed you on the first setup, yeah, once you get flying, it's really not that of a problem anymore. Yes, you know, you see it and you wish it would be gone, but if it's like that, you know, you can live with that. So just imagine running a race car in the rain. You have some rain on the windscreen, you have some wipers who take it off every second or so, but there's still rain and distortion in your view. But you can live with that. You can still drive this thing to the limit. So yeah, it's just another little piece of the puzzle to try to get some information across, which I would have liked to have before I was getting into this. Just to remember, it's not long ago. I just started flying FPV 1 year ago. Christmas 2014, I bought my first pair of goggles, and I totally didn't know what to expect. I was flying mixed linear and circular antennas because I didn't know. And I was not using a diversity receiver because I didn't know. All these kind of things would have been so much easier if someone would have told me, and that's one of the reasons why I do these things here and embarrass myself in public. Okay, sorry for the noise. Feedback, because I just reassembled the whole stream setup. Wirecast keeps crashing. So, Master RC student says FPV videos like that, quality is sometimes worse than micro quad FPV. They're shooting at things. Rise of the drones. And Scott says here's some footage, feels clean, and when you watch it later you see the noise. Yeah, so there's two main types of noise, analog and digital. So the analog noise, the breakups, the snow and the lines across the video, that's all the analog stuff. That's what's created by the system while it's flying and through interference on the quad and through the reception problems. And then there's the digital noise, which is added by the encoder. So for example, lots of encoders just can't deal with the fact that suddenly part of the image is disappearing in noise or breakups, and the compression of that makes it a lot worse than that to the person who is watching the feed live. So to sum that up, an FPV video feed is somewhere in between the GoPro footage, what you see from many people posting online when they record their FPV flights with especially like a 250 race quad. So that's way better quality what you actually see in your stream. But what you see in my videos, it's a little bit below, not much, but a little bit lower quality than what you would see if you actually fly, because when you fly you don't have all the digital compression artifacts. You just have the stream right into your goggles, and all proper FPV goggles don't have any blackout issues, whilst a normal display or even the encoders, they expect a full video signal, and if it breaks out in parts, even just like half a frame or something, they assume that the stream is gone and they just stop encoding and you see a blue or black screen. So yeah, on the other hand, as we agreed, our brain fills in lots of the blanks, right, Scott? So you can see through a lot of that noise. While you're actually flying, it's not that bad. So you can live with a lot more noise. When you're flying, then you can tolerate if you are watching it, because if you're flying, you have to focus on controlling it and where you're going. And if you are just watching the stream afterwards, the recording, or even if you are watching someone who flies, you have more capacity to focus on all the stuff that you just don't see when you fly. So, Cool Baza is talking about a game which involves chugging rum and then start flying. Why do you wait a couple of minutes? I think it would be probably interesting if you fill up and then start flying immediately and wait for it to kick in while you fly. So Scotty plays that with bourbon. And Master RC is doing tequila. IPA and whiskey. Moonshine, what I want to sure I break something. Yeah, flying at full moon is actually pretty interesting. With these MC900 cameras, it works pretty good. So moonlight is actually very nice to fly. David Mills wants more speeder bikes. So what you want, David? Just the frames? I have a few of the frames left. Putting together kits might take me a little bit longer, but it probably makes more sense to ship them as kits, because the frames are not flat, so I can't send them in envelopes because they will break. I need to put them in boxes, and that costs at least $20 to ship them internationally. So if you're interested in more speeder bikes, I will put together another few kits consisting of the bike, couple props, couple motors, because you need motors in one direction, and an alien pilot. Yeah, shot and go. Mr. Pnew has taken a quick and dirty transcript of the chat stream today. I will upload it somewhere so we can all see what things we are. I might have to pull a recording of this stream for all the curses. I should try to discipline myself and talk like an adult. But I'm quoting you in the chat, so it's a bit difficult. David is Fleming Melista and deserves a speeder frame. You can watch him try to figure out the physics. Yeah, it takes a little while to figure out how the speeder bike works. But once you understood that, fixing up people with propeller and motor orientation issues on a Nano QX, it's kind of a walk in the park, right? So yeah, that's why I think maybe this chat thing here is a good idea to combine my, or to combine, that's the word I'm looking for, to I don't know, to wrap up my support efforts and have people ask questions in the chat and trying to answer them here, and other people who would have asked the same question otherwise get the answer. Because, you know, that's the dilemma. I'm answering so many questions in all sorts of forums and in my support, in my ticket system. Many of them are the same. And I like to publish my answers somewhere publicly, but these are questions who have been sent privately. I can't just publish the communication. In parts I did that, so if you go to the website and go to any product page, there's questions, and sometimes a lot of questions. Some of you might have noticed I'm actually asking you for the answers too. So I'm using a quite intelligent review system. Someone can post a question, and then that question is sent to me in the first place. And I usually read the questions on my mobile. I don't answer them, but I put them in a bucket to answer. And if I think someone else can answer the question, there's a little button for the administrator or moderator, send question to previous shoppers. That's pretty cool because, you know, if someone, for example, buys a, let's say, a 7mm Dreamcatcher, and then someone else in the future asks a question about it, I just press a button and the question gets sent to the last, I think, 5 people who have bought that particular product. And if they don't answer the question, it gets sent to further people. Now I've set this to manual, but in the first place, when I installed the system, I didn't know about that. So I just left it on default, and then people started asking questions. I was going on my website to answer them, and I've seen what other people have already answered the questions. But then there came some problems because, for example, with the Alienware flight controller, that was during the time when we were still selling those, and people started asking questions. When is it back in stock? And then that question was sent to all the other people saying, please tell me, when is it back in stock? So poked some hornet nests with that and put it to manual. Moonlight FPV. Yeah, if you have moonlight where you are, give it a go. Full moon, 3 or 4 days before and after work good, and you need a light sensitive camera, so the MC900, those are sold as Pico V2 at Ready Made RC and some other names. That's the MC900 V9 from Third Eye. That one works pretty good. That's the best I found in low light. And if you fly at a full moonlight, it's looking as good as it could, just black and white. Scotty says, the first time I went to figure out the speeder bike, I realized that I'm not as smart as I thought. But smartness came right afterwards. I've seen you figured it out. And yeah, once you went through setting up a weird speeder bike, then you've got it forever. Mr. Pinu will post a link to the community forum, and in the comments here I give you mod rights so you can post away links in the chat. Oh, Adam posted that already. So when is the Alienwee Alien Flight available? I don't know. Lance isn't talking to me anymore. Not sure if I did something to upset him. And his website, let's have a look. It's kind of in limbo for quite some time now. Alienflight.com will be back soon. So yeah, to be honest, I don't know if that's going to happen. I wish it does, but Lance seems to change his point of view frequently, so I don't know. Scott means mod status here. Yep, I hand out some more mod status here. Jesse gets some. Josna Popper gets some. Scotty gets some. Come on. The screen is not long enough. Who would have thought? So, CJ James, I don't know you yet. I'm not getting up in lights. So, everyone else is a moderator now but James. So, Pilsner Papa asks for my beef board. I've given the beef board to Ash, but Ash didn't get it to work either. Maybe he damaged it even more, I don't know. I have given up on the beef. Not the beef in general, I really think it's some issue with that particular board, what I got, or with what I did to it, although I didn't do more stupid things to like all the other boards, but well, you know, I broke quite a few boards already, so I might have just damaged it. But it seems all to work. Sensors and everything, and you can program it and flash it. The only thing it doesn't do is connecting to any receiver. But I have the exact same thing with one of the Alienwees, so I don't know. Not saying anything against beef boards. I think it's actually a pretty good flight controller in that regards, that it has an active developer. Curtis is not only maybe even hanging out in the chat here, but he's active on Reddit and I think also in RC groups, so I've seen him helping out many people who had issues with his flight controller. Which, you know, look at the example of Hobby King. They sold thousands, 10,000s of this micro MWC. It's still running on Multi-Wii 2.2. They don't freaking care about their customers. But yeah, right. Cows are not aliens. Micro MWCs are not aliens. Aliens rule. There's nothing better than these little alien flight controllers. Scotty can ruin the place now. I don't know exactly what moderators can do in the chat room. I presume you can delete posts and kick people. So just look at, you know, click on any of the chat messages and there's 3 dots at the right side. You click on that and you can do stuff to the chat messages like remove, report profile image, report message, lock user, and put user in timeout. So if you see someone being super annoying, put them in timeout. Not sure how long that is. I was never forced to use any repressive tools on this chat until now. Everyone is well behaved, and before things got iffy, the stream crashes anyway. So if anyone has any questions to stuff I showed you today, well, it was more flying and crashing and my problems. So, but anyway, any questions? I'll still keep the session open for another few minutes. Any suggestions? Most welcome as usual. For those of you who know about streaming, can you suggest any other streaming software? I mean, I really like Wirecast so far. Very clean, slick interface. Works very good as long as it works, but it doesn't always work. Just crashes from one second to the other. Or maybe it's a memory issue on that computer too. 27-inch iMac with 64 gigabyte otherworld computing RAM. I think it wasn't designed to take 64 gigs of RAM. Maybe we should take some out. Maybe that's the problem for the crashes. I don't know, but if you have a suggestion for another streaming software, please let me know. Rebel Rotor Sports is late to class, that's right. You missed all the action. There's not much more happening. Mail time. I only have this little thing here to open up today. All the other things I already couldn't, what's the right word for that? Couldn't contain myself, I think is the right word. And open up all the mail I got over the week already. So, let's see what's in here. It says 1 connector and $2. 1 connector, really? I only ordered 1 connector? Usually don't do that. It's not a connector, it's a, what is it? It's an antenna. Yeah, I think it's a 2.4 gigahertz antenna. Let's see if I got it right, because the plan of that was to replace this antenna here. I have a module, a transmitter module in this transmitter, internal, and the antenna is wired up here It's a little bit in the way, so I thought I'd replace it. I should beat that out afterwards, okay? I know it's live, I'm sorry. Yeah, see, this one has a pin. It should not have a pin. So, I don't know, did I maybe order it for something else? These antennas here. Yeah. These here are different. Fits on this one. That's the antenna for the internal module. They're both internal for the stock module. So that transmitter has two transmitter modules, actually three. One on the Tyrannus Sky protocol, one DSM or multi-protocol module, and Bluetooth. So if you have two Bluetooth transmitters with both run Open TX 2.1, you can trainer them up, buddy box them wirelessly. But yeah, fail. Antenna fail. That is just so stupid with these what are called SMA connectors, that they have not agreed to having the threads inside or outside, or the pins on this side or that side. So you basically end up with 4 different standards, although they could have just used one. Unbelievable. And if you use converters or adapters, with a better word, then you lose signal quality. But yeah, maybe I have an adapter to put this on here. So the plan was to have a smaller antenna here, so I don't break this one. But yeah, I guess I'll just break it and then stick it against the frame. So, further to the chat room. The core group of, I can't repeat that on air, so I think the chat room is probably going to disappear. No one can see the chat after the video has been, the stream has been finished and the video has been uploaded. So only what I repeat, what I read of the chat is going to make it into the archives of eternity. So I gotta be careful what I say. I'll beep you guys out because you guys are cursing way more than I do. I'll skip the bad words to make it kids friendly, okay? Phil gets detention, so maybe you can time out each other. One moderator times out the other, so it stays nice and quiet in the chat room. So the core group of smarty heads. Adam posts a link to the alien flight. Aliens eat cows. You know, admittedly, the advantage of cows is that they exist. You can buy them if you want to. Rebel is again late to class. Adam needs an IT guru. Sketchy to the rescue. Yeah, we need IT gurus. That's always helpful. I tried to be IT guru for quite some time, and I developed a a very solid what's the right word for this? I wouldn't say hate, but a strong tendency to avoid Windows PCs. You know, I get like my neck hairs are coming up when I see Windows machines. I used to work in a tech support department where we supported primarily Windows machines because we developed Windows drivers. And yeah, all of you know in IT know where that ends, because you are the receiving end of all the issues. You know, we haven't been the front end support team, but we have been the second, third, and maybe even the fourth level of support. So we got the help desk calls from the help desks from our customers. Yeah, I don't want to be an IT guru. I don't want to help anyone fixing his Windows PCs. I have enough of those issues, so that's why I dropped the penny and invested in Macs. Dial 1-800-MADMAN1. That's right, dial someone else's number. So, Adam comments about the proprietary existence of these SMA, reverse SMA, double reverse and triple SMA connectors. I don't even think that someone did that to enrich himself. This is just not following any standards, because many companies produce stuff and everyone is not looking left and right what others are doing. I think it's beneficial for everyone if you make stuff compatible. But yeah, certainly there are people who make stuff intentionally incompatible. I can't believe that they think that's real advantage for them. Shit, we can't swear. Yeah, I don't know what swearing, so you know. If you talk live to each other, I think swearing is kind of normal, right? Amongst the same folks. But if you do something in public and if kids are watching, I don't think it's the right thing to do. So there was an interesting discussion how that makes you look if you can't speak properly like an adult. So just look at Reddit /r/multicopter. You probably know the top dogs flying FPV there and posting their videos. One of them is called, what's his name? Steel, Mr. Steel. And his kind of tagline seems to be ripping balls. He talks about balls all the time. You need balls to ball and rip balls, and even his website is called Ripping Balls. And while I think it's okay to say balls from time to time, or you gotta have balls to do something, maybe even sometimes you can say you rip balls, although, yeah, I'm not too sure about that. But constantly calling every one of your videos and your website, I'm ripping balls. I'm with, what's his name? Oral Operator, one of the mods on the subreddit. And this is just makes us as those who produce the videos, but also as a community as such, just look like immature idiots. So you shouldn't forget what we do here, and you participate in the chat, and me sitting here and blabbing into the camera. We're just a small part of that whole group who is doing stuff. The majority of people are just sitting there and reading and watching. Maybe 95%, maybe 99%. There are many reasons why you do not want to participate. Doing live stream videos, maybe you don't have the time, maybe you have a job. Maybe you don't have the equipment to do it. Maybe you don't have the interest in hanging out in the chat room, and maybe you see the videos afterwards. So I think there are many, many people who just watch that, and I think it's a sign of self-control if you don't swear, right? So I'll give my best. So let's continue in the chat, and I'm already almost an hour over my time. I still got a lot to do, so I'll move towards the end. I'll try to answer the last questions in the chat, and then I will pack my stuff, sending the shipments over the weekend, and I think I even missed some on Friday. So sorry for that. If you're still waiting for stuff you ordered on Friday, it'll happen soon. So yeah, Adam, I am not, as I said, I don't have any hesitations to swear in front of the usual crowd, but I think we should be aware of wider audience. See, peak concurrent. Oh, there's only 22 people watching at the time, so maybe I'm concerned for no reason. And this is just like a private club of propellers here. The stupid motors of the Dromedar Vista. I think they are reversed just by accident. The Dromedar has made the unstoppable menace, which is a quad which has so soft propeller shafts that they bend if you drop it. So the unstoppable menace was followed up by a successor, I don't know what name they had for the Dromedar Vista, and they left the same motor assembly, or the same gear propeller assembly, with the same motors, the same plugs, the same gears, but they reversed the polarity of the plugs. So if you buy a ominous motor, it doesn't work in the Vista, even though it's exactly the same motor, just reverse polarity. I can't believe that someone is doing that intentionally. Sketchy Hamster, Facepalms, Betamax. I have no idea what Betamax is. I must have missed that. So volume has what? Volume slipped down. I'm sorry. This is because I restarted. I upped the volume again, I believe. I'm sorry. Scully has seen that stuff too. Mr. Steele is a nice guy, and the Ripping Bolts is stupid. Yeah, after that I actually watched his kind of personal introduction video where he just go to rippingbolts.com and click on one of the videos. Or even his tagline says he's a 25-year-old guy who doesn't miss an opportunity to rip balls. I just think if you have arrived at a stage where your balls are big enough that you feel them every day. You don't have to talk about them every day. They're just in the way of walking. It's annoying. So you don't have to talk about them all the time. So that's what you do between 18 and 25, I guess, when the balls are growing. So cool Baza dog says, you know, I agree. You know, you can't. It's cursing is just way of normal talk, and Scott says it's actually very common and usual phonetics in America, and I think in Australia even more. So, you know, there are people who can communicate with themselves by only using bloody and fuck in all sorts of combinations, and it makes a bloody fucking sentence. But Kulbaza doesn't give a fuck of that. So, and he disappeared already, so see you later. As usual, over schedule. Thanks for your time. Adam disappears too, I think. See you later. Pete got modstat. Dreamer, is it too late to ask a list of parts that you chose for this FPDR event? Will there be a kit? Sorry, I just got here. Okay, well, let's continue. Dreamer 111 asked about the FPVR org event. Well, you know, that's what I was actually wanting to talk about. So, what I will fly myself on the event tomorrow is very similar to what I showed you in the first part of this video, which sorry you didn't see Dreamer, which didn't work out as good as I would like to, because these ready-to-fly flight controllers I have on the quads produce more interference than I was hoping for. So they don't work as well, but they do work. So I can go over the parts what I will be bringing with me to the event tomorrow now, but also I will turn up there tomorrow as early as they let me in there to test the equipment and see if anyone else there turns up early to maybe share that what I bring along. I'll give you some parts so you can build something. I think it will be a bit of a stretch if you just get the parts on the day, even if I give you a ready built quad to get familiar with that. But you know, you can give that a go. The racing is, I think, starting at 6 or 7, and I think we are allowed to go in there at 1 o'clock. The problem will be, though, there's other people on the kart track, probably racing cars. So I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work out, but I'll turn up there early. So Dreamer, if you want to talk live about that, just turn up, and even if there are racing cars around the track, or just sit in front of the door or something. So these are the quads what I'll bring along tomorrow. They consist of Reggae Shark polycarbonate frame, 135mm motor diagonal for 8.5mm motors, together with 820-15 coreless motors and these Hudson style carbon props, or let's say carbon reinforced props. They're pretty good, they're pretty tough. The issue with them is that they are inconsistent. So some of them are good and some of them not. So I literally had to go through around 3 sets each, maybe 2 sets, if you sum it up. But yeah, usually you need 3 sets to find 4, 5, 6 good props. But once you have them, they work very nice because they're very stiff and they are very tough to break. So they just form like little burrs at the end where other props would have already shattered. So yeah, I sifted through the whole stack of those props what I have and I found around 30 good ones. So these quads run a TE93 camera video transmitter all-in-one module, which I'm using because it's 2 spec to what we are allowed to use on the race event, and that is 25 milliwatts. You're not allowed to transmit more than 25 milliwatts. A, because it's above the official limit what you're allowed to transmit on the 5.8 gigahertz ISM band in Australia. So if you want to transmit more, you need a amateur radio license or any other radio license, and I think in that band the only thing that allows you to transmit more is a amateur radio license. But that doesn't really matter because we have decided to not only follow the rules but also follow common sense and what other people say about FPV racing. You need to limit your transmitting power as far as possible, and 25 milliwatts seems to be a reasonable compromise, as you not have seen if you just joined the stream. But I can fly with 25 milliwatts and an antenna at a not very ideal position around the yard and get a relatively good video stream all along the way. If you would have directional antennas on the sideline of the track, 25 milliwatts on a small track is just perfectly enough to get a good signal if you fly by yourself. And it will, hopefully, tomorrow will be the big test because it's the first event where we actually limited on 25 milliwatts, and it will hopefully also allow to fly with 4 people at the same time. These camera modules come, so I have them separately as well, not just with the ready built quads. These camera modules come with a choice of 2 lenses, 90 and 120 degrees field of view. Both kind of work okay. I personally prefer the 90-degree one because it just gives you, it's kind of a little bit like a tele lens. So if you're flying, you're focusing on exactly where you're going and not left or right. Which puts that centerpiece of your field of view into the stream. So that means where it actually matters, you have more resolution, you have more pixels instead of having a wide angle of view. And what you're actually interested in when racing, what's straight ahead of you, that sort of gets less real estate on the sensor than if you have a narrow field of view. But that's personal taste. I think 90 and 120 degree both work quite good for racing. I've also tested 55-degree cameras, which are just way too narrow. It's like flying with binoculars on. And I've also tested 170-degree lenses, which also work, and some people like to fly with them even during racing. But I just think you see too much stuff around you, which is just not relevant. So, and it reduces that bit what I actually want to see, the gate you want to fly through or the pole you don't want to hit. And finally, the last bit on here, the flight controller, is the bugbear at the moment. I used I use these things because I have quite a few of these ready to fly quads up there on the shelf, which I have taken apart to put them on here, because then I have a transmitter and a flight controller which I can pass on to people. So the only thing you need in addition to that, plus the transmitter, the only thing what you need on top of that to fly FPV is a pair of goggles, because even the receivers are provided at the event tomorrow. So Dave, the organizer of our racing events, has arranged 4 video receivers, which, as far as I've heard, I haven't seen them, are the same what I have running here. So they are 5.8 gigahertz diversity receivers with a omnidirectional and a directional antenna on them. So the only thing you need on top of this thing is a pair of goggles and maybe, should they have them, an extension cord, a video extension cord to plug your goggles in. So it's always good to have some of them. I use these ones here. If you buy a pair of goggles, I think most of them have these plugs. Some of them just have RCA plugs, but most goggles come with, and most receivers come with 3.5mm single pole connectors, just like your average headphones, 3.5mm, but 4 pole. So, did I say 1 pole before? Yeah, I mean they're all on one axis, but it's 4 connectors. So a mono audio signal has 2 poles, a stereo audio signal has 3, and those video plugs have 4. So they come in 2 varieties. One with 2 plugs, that's what you need if you just want to connect your goggles to one of the transmitters. So the transmitters we have there have a 3.5mm video output as well, but you also get them in extension configuration. So 1 socket, 1 connector, 1 plug, and you can run them over quite a few meters without any issues that I noticed in video quality. So in theory, that was my plan. I wanted to give people the opportunity to just buy one of those, including the toy transmitter, and start flying FPV. You know, you need a pair of goggles anyway, and it's very much personal taste. So I didn't really see myself being in a position of buying lots of goggles and trying to sell them. They're expensive, and everyone wants something different. So I think the best starter goggles are probably the Hobby King Quantum V2. I think they cost around $100, and they are the box type of thing where you strap a huge box in front of your head and then a 5-inch screen with Fresnel lens. They're cheap and they work relatively good for that money. So yeah, that was the plan. As I said, didn't really work out as well as I was hoping for, because they produce more noise in the video stream as I was hoping for, and they're a little bit tricky to control with that toy controller, but it's possible. So I'll bring them along tomorrow and I'll try to fly them around the track myself. And Dreamer, if you come along, you can watch and see if you like it. I'm happy to part with them, but I think the best approach is to put a different flight controller on here. I have just zip tied all the parts together, so as you can see here on the bottom, it's just 2 zip ties who hold the flight controller assembly in place. Should just snip snip, you can take it off and put something else in there. It should fly just right out of the box with a Nano QX FPV flight controller. I ordered a few of those to place those flight controllers here, but they're not here yet, so they will be probably done on the next event on the Spitfire car track on first Tuesday of March. Or there's also another event in, I forgot even where the venue is, but the car track looks really cool on February 23rd somewhere near Bankstown. So just check out fpvr.org. All the event details are there. It's a really cool track with some underpasses, and I think it will be very tricky to fly for the guys with the big quads. Just a little bit of the throttle and bam, you're in the bridge. So I have some pretty good hopes to have some success with these little quads, because as opposed to a 250, even if you crash into the underside of a bridge or something, you usually don't break props, don't break stuff, just keep flying. So I crashed so many times with these quads and didn't go down, just, scraped a bit of the propeller and panicked a little and kept flying. So I will, however, bring along all the separate parts for that. So cameras separately, frames separately, motors, propellers, batteries. So if you want any of those parts, I'm happy to part with some of them at the local venue. So let's get back to the chat. I prefer my balls to stay intact. So big balls are just not an advantage, It seems to be like if you're 18 or 25, it's really important to have big balls and tell everyone about it. And even if you don't have big balls, it seems to be even more important to tell everyone about it. But yeah. So steel seems to be 25, at least that's what he said, I read the comments on Reddit about him, and then I went on his website and watched his self-introduction video, and I think he's actually a pretty smart, pretty nice guy, but yeah, I think he'd get over it at some stage. So Adam says, Cool Baza Dog has posted something on the community, and he has something to bring to the table. I hope it's not balls. Let's check it out. So what's the topic, Adam? What did he post? KC machine? Is that him? I don't know. I hear the family is coming back, so I apologize for the coming interruption. There's no way that my 5-year-old is just going upstairs without coming in here. Good part of that is always he brings in the mail. Dreamer111 says, Danke, tolle Infos. Are you German, Mr. Dreamer111? You're Aussie because I heard that at the time. So I don't know, here's some jokes going about cool dog, cool taste dog. I'm not sure, maybe I missed some running gag in the chat. Micromotor sticker on the cam. Yeah, I think Scott came up with putting the stickers on the cameras. You know, you guys probably remember, some of you, the Dark Lord giveaway, which I still think was pretty cool. I'm going to do another one of that. And I gave away all these little stickers, and Scott started to put them on the cameras. So I thought it was pretty cool. It's the only place on the Micro where you can stick those 10mm stickers. So yeah, I'm sticking them on my cameras too. So 5V alien side USB from Adam. So that's what Cool Dog is doing. No, not Cool Dog, Cool Bowser Dog. I just call him Cool Dog for now. Trim the video. Everyone is using 25 milliwatts. What is that called? Says Adam, the RTFFC. It's called RTFFC. It's from a top-selling X6 Hudson clone. I like them over the Hudson because you can screw them apart and take all the guts out without feeding the wires, desoldering and feeding the wires through the frame. But apart from that, it's pretty much like a Hudson. Who needs pans? Yeah, Scott, I like the approach with the FPV setup as well. Just produces too much noise. C. James wants the quad. EA Sheen 8 sounds like China backwards. Yeah, we need more flight controllers. There's no way around that. We need more flight controllers. Pilsner Popper asks about what props are like for racing. Well, there's three main combinations of motors and props what I like to fly. A20-7-15 motors with Hudson props or with Parrot props. Both works pretty good. The Parrot props deliver more punch, but they also break quicker and they tend to create more vibrations. I don't know exactly why. They run pretty true, but I think it's due to the slower speed, slower head speed, that they create more jello in the video feed. Not always, so I got many setups with Parrot props which just work fine, but for racing, you know, there's one thing to be fast, but it doesn't matter if you don't arrive. So that's why my strategy in racing so far is to arrive in first place and go fast in second place. What's up, buddy? No, it's live on the internet. Say hello to the internet. Hello, internet.
Hello, internet.
So, internet doesn't answer you.
Why?
Yeah, it doesn't work like this. See you later. Bye bye.
I want one more. Goodbye.
Okay.
Without looking.
Okay.
Oh no, that wasn't it.
Okay. See you later.
I did it without looking, like, orange.
Okay. Bye bye. So. Yeah. See you later.
Bye.
Bye bye. So continue. Yeah, we need more flight controllers. You're still there. Come on, man. Leave me alone.
Okay, bye.
See ya. So, yeah, arriving is my primary goal in racing. Come on. Leave.
What are you doing?
Leave.
Bye.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why I like tough props over fast props. Some of the clear Hobson props are pretty much unbreakable. A lot of them are unfortunately not. So after being excited about them and buying lots of them, I got quite a few batches. If they hit something hard, they just snap in two just in the middle of the hub. So currently, again after some time, I dug out all these carbon props, and yeah, they are pretty good. So I'll try those tomorrow, and some of the clear ones probably as well. But yeah, Hobson props seem to cause the least trouble. And if you want to have more power, you can just put the Hobson props on the 820-17 motors and get pretty much the same punch as you get out of Parrot props on the 15,000 kV motors. So yeah, the Parrot props just fly a little better, somehow more, I don't know, more floaty. It flies nicer, but if you crash, then the chances are better that you still keep flying with the Parrot props, especially if you have some of the tough ones. So either a good version of the clear props or a good version of the carbon props, which are pretty tough to get right. So I actually just purchased a few hundred sets of these carbon props, and I will start selling them on the web shop with the warning in there that you should buy at least 3 sets to get a usable one. So I'll probably just sell them in lots of 3 sets, or maybe just put them in as 1 set and give people the option how many they want to have. But it will be almost as expensive as the Parrot props, $6 instead of $7 a set. But I hope that, or I'm pretty confident of that, if you get a working set, as in a balanced one. The issue of them is that the molding process doesn't seem to be consistent. Some of them just vibrate a lot. So once you get a set of 4 balanced, nicely working ones, I think it will be pretty tough to crash them apart, and that just means you will arrive, which is at the current stage of FPV racing, usually the guy who arrives wins. So that was Pilsner Popper's question. Mr. Pnew says the new venue looks really good. Yeah, I like that. Very interesting track. Adam likes the Parrots too. Panic a little and keep flying. That's I think what's the interesting part of it. It really brings you to the edge of your and your machine's capabilities flying FPV, at least flying micro FPV. If you build larger rigs, I think you can build them with more consistency, although I see lots of people having lots of problems with them as well. But getting a micro rig working in the first place is a bit of a hassle, and then to actually be able to fly it because it's that twitchy, especially in like a proximity area like here, and I like to fly between the houses and over the roof and through some hoops and stuff. It's always at the edge of crashing, and I crashed thousands of times, and even more thousands of times I ran into something and kept flying. So that's always a highlight, crashing into something and not going down. So, damn, so much happening in the chat here. We'll never come to the end of this, I think, so we cut it short. It's now, what, 2.5 hours. So, here is thread. Here are my first few frames. Oh, here's cool dog. Okay, I see. So what does he post? And then that's a long thread. Go to the beginning. Top. So he posted that on January 1st. He has some fancy frames. Yeah, that looks cool. So, I'll read that later. 219 posts. Adam says, it's not Liam, it's Leon. Sounds similar, yeah. Decided to call him Leon. So, yeah, he doesn't see the chat, obviously. It was a BRA high five. Yeah, he made it a challenge to high five as hard as possible. Now that's, I guess, the expression of manliness before you get to the ball stage. So, I didn't sit for class. No, I tell you, you don't want him in here. It's he's so full of energy. It's unbelievable. I sometimes take him to 4 karate classes in a row. Then we go for a run and a swim on the beach. And then we come back and he's still jumping up and down like a rubber ball. Upstairs guests has help. So the clear Hubsons have none gone cloudy. I think cloudy is not a good thing for plastic. It indicates some issue with the molding process, I think. So clear is a very good color for plastic because that means they didn't burn it during the mold. But yeah, clear Hubson props have been a little bit of a disappointment recently as well. So that's why I'm going back to carbon mix. Bob Lee is using an Industrix FC. Put Stark Edition models on there. Well, that's good. I heard from a few people that it works. There are range issues. Range issues on the range issues on the Nano QX flight controller. Did you bend the antenna up? If it's flat on the flight controller, you might have issues. If you bend it up, maybe you get better reception. Yeah, I know you won't disappear while I do. I'm trying to finish off the chat all the way to the bottom, and then I'll get moving. You see my son, you think my son brings the real excitement to the session here? Yeah, we probably have this every time. If I would be on time, they usually do something between 11:30 and 12:30. But if I'm over time, they come back. So yeah, I've given up on finishing on time. I would probably just put the sessions without an ending time. You can put on YouTube. I think you have to put a start time. It doesn't make sense for a scheduled event not to have a start time. Although, as you know, I'm usually late with that too. But yeah, I think I'll just give up on the end time. Bad nozzle temperature. Rebel Motorsport says bad nozzle temp. Bob. Oh no, Bob replies to me. And Rebel Motorsport says bad nozzle temp. It's 14 hours, says my computer. I have to move, my friends. So, yeah, another fun, at least for me, live cast is over. Thanks for everyone joining in. The technical problems have been relatively limited today. At least I think the stream worked well. But the frigging Wirecast has been crashing quite often. I'm running the control room for the video on this computer and the stream on this, so even if this guy crashed, I could still participate in the chat. But yeah, maybe my issues are related to that computer, so maybe I'll switch on next time to see if that works better. Dreamer111. So, are you local, Mr. Dreamer? Are you turning up tomorrow? Then at least my stream would have hit the right audience in your person. Because yeah, that was the main reason to do this thing today. I was hoping to show some really good working ready to fly quads, but yeah, it's the error cast. So Dreamer111 is aus Südtirol, so I presume that means you're not gonna hit the road tomorrow and meet us in Sydney. I'm sorry for that. We have some beautiful weather and some live, well, not live yet, some FPV racing, some offline FPV racing here in Australia. Usually Australia is quite late in doing all this stuff, so I'm quite pleased to see that we are some of the first apparently to organize proper races. A few have been coming up, but not too many. So I'm working hard on establishing a micro quad class as in racing class. Got a lot to do. This with the RTF Reggae Sharks didn't work out completely as I was hoping for, but you'll see, I'll try to fly one of them around the track tomorrow and record that, so even if that's an offline event, I'll probably post some footage of that afterwards. Thanks for the regulars and joining in again as well. I'll keep probably also the next stream. I keep this in that small group before I publish it on the website or make some more noise around that. Keep it in the small group for now until we figured out all the issues. Thanks again for hanging in there, for helping me to fix my problems. I think we are all getting something out of these live streams. See you later.